So welcome back to Rebel Camp's information on going off grid. In this episode, I want to talk about how we did it and what I think the most important steps are in going off grid and what you can do to minimize the cost that we've experienced or the mistakes that we've made, and to kind of help you in your setup process after you buy the land. Now, the buying of land, there's no rule of thumb or tricks or processes, but buy it cheap and make sure you have road access and everything's legal. That's the only advice I could give you on the land purchase process. Now, let's take it from what happens once you settle on, or once you own the land. First thing I think you should do, oh, by the way, here's Antigua, Guatemala in our background, and we've got a small fire going. The wood's a little humid. It's probably causing a little bit of smoke, but it's still warm and cozy. So what do you do once you own the land? First thing I would do is buy 1 or 2 camper vans. Absolutely the best thing to do. Why? Because each camper will take care of like a family and workers. Unless the family's going to do it, then you can still get 2, because it always can become a guest place while you're building your camp. So, campers, 1 or 2 campers, absolutely. What to do after you have the campers? So you land on your property, you have a 4x4, couple of campers, quadrimoto would be great, let's say quad, absolutely fantastic. One with a, how do you call it, a winch would be ideal. Now you're going to need some tools, and after that, once you have all these minimum requirements, first thing to do, solar. Solar takes a day to set up. It's absolutely beneficial, saves you on gas for power plants, and if you get a $10,000 to $15,000 system, especially nowadays, and I'm talking $10,000 a few years ago, but if you got a cheap piece of property, couple of campers, and 4x4 quad, quadrimoto, you know, we're in Central America, so I'm trying to bridge, you know, a couple of like communication gaps or skills. Then water system. So solar power, water system would be the next things to have installed. Once those 2 things are installed, build a workshop. First thing to do is the workshop. You can work under the rain, you can have a bathroom within the workshop area for extra workers or whatever, what have you. And when we're talking off grid, what we're talking about is dry toilets. You don't have flush toilets, because that is a huge water consumption. And it's really not beneficial for anyone. I mean, there's that luxury convenience, but it eventually can stink up your yard. It's not environmentally friendly, whereas a dry composting system is that when you take your dump, you throw in dirt mixed with wood. It's acetine in Spanish, and I can't think of the word right now. But sawdust. So you have dirt mixed with sawdust. Maybe, you know, we take the ashes from here, mix that in as well, and then you have an amazing nitrogen-filled earth for fruit trees or for your garden. So once you have your land and you put in your solar and you put in your water capture system, then the next thing I would do is the workshop. Once your workshop's in, then you could do anything you want. Now, in a previous video, I talked about having separate cabins or separate living areas for each of the individuals on your property, depending on age, of course. But if you are 10 years of age, you should have your own cabin. Or one of the campers could turn into your kids' living areas, which is great for them. They have their own space, and everyone has their own space. You have a communal living area, which I think is fantastic, because then you can all get together, have that nice family chat, and then everyone goes off into their distance. And I think that's beneficial for any marriage and any family compound or family unit. So, in the structure of building up your off-grid living situation, once you have your own cabins and you have your own central communal area and your workshop is just kicking it, then you can start making money doing things like building bird cages. We'll just refer to it as bird cages. Whatever it is that you're really good at building, bird cages. All right? If you want to have guests involved in your off-grid project, I would really suggest keeping that separate. You know, when you're buying a property that's off-grid, depending on how much money you have to invest and how lucky you get on the place that you find, well, then maybe perhaps you have one area which is just family, and then another area that you can have guests staying at that location, and it's fenced off and it's kept separate from your personal family. So solar use, water capture, digging a well, super beneficial, and I think we will have a well driller in the years to come. We're fortunate enough to own multiple lands, and being experienced in well digging prior to now would have been awesome. But living off grid is a process that doesn't come easy. You make mistakes and you go, oh, I think I'm going to buy this, and you buy a tractor instead of a well digger, and then the tractor doesn't work out because it wasn't the right kind of tractor for the area in which we were living, and then we sold it at a loss. So you've got to plan on whatever you do off grid that you're taking a loss. You know, our first garden was hugely successful, and then our second garden just didn't work out as well. And so now I'd rather just save that cost, buy groceries that are from the market, and because they're not as good for you, but they're not as costly as buying them from a Walmart. And you got to get rid of all that Walmart shit and Costco. Buy from local vendors. Give the smaller businesses an opportunity here in this world, because the big ones, they're just out to fuck you. Even the middle ones are kind of out to fuck you, but at least they have better prices. So, from what I'm trying to get, the points I'm trying to get across in starting up an off-grid, it's the process I think would be beneficial for anyone. Have a few campers, build into the big workshop, and that workshop, then you can later on do anything you want. You can start selling knickknacks. And so if you get the basics of an off-grid place, the solar, the water capture, multiple buildings, so that you're not living on top of each other, like in one house, in one dwelling, and having that constant stress, I think your marriage will last a lot longer. I think your kids will grow up to be more educated on fending for themselves and not in that complete mundane world in which that constant stress and that living in close confines. I don't think we're built that way. Some families can get along better, but I think that's just the lottery of ratios, if you know what I mean. Some will always, succeed. Not happy, but they will succeed. And so what I want you to take away from this is get off grid for the minority of you that will even be interested or try. And, try to be an educational force for you to avoid the missteps and the costs that we've incurred extra from not putting in our own well. That should have been the thing we did day one, instead of some of the other investments we made. I made the mistakes, but I wouldn't make the same mistakes again in the future. Absolutely not. I would build my own well, have our own water, and then you're the richest person in the world. Then you could grow your own produce. You could spend more time on your land. I still have to work for a living, believe it or not, but I'm hoping my kids will have a good takeaway from what we've done. And even though they're not on the same path right now, I think one of these days they'll go, "The fuck? I think my dad really got it right." And kind of resort more to the off-grid living, having your own farm security, cameras, lights, security lights, and your own artesian well. I think that would be brilliant. So, anyways, it's time for me to cut out. I think I could do it here. No, I got to stand up and turn this off. I thank you very much for, the 11 people that watched our videos before. Woohoo! And I hope that you take away something from this and stop living where it's like $1,000 a square vara, a square meter in places like Antigua, and you go out just on the outskirts of that where it's more reasonable, around $20 or $9 a vara or a meter. And then you'll start realizing that stress of all that down there, which is a beautiful town, don't get me wrong, but you're not bringing that into your family being, into your family home. If you're hungry, you go get some carrots and some lettuce from your garden, and you have a lunch. It's that simple. Really, it is. And I hope to get there myself one of these days. For now, what we've done is just built this, which is pretty awesome, pretty incredible, volcanic views, and pool table. Maybe we can put in some photos of these things while I was talking about it, so you can see what our place looks like. It's really beautiful. Anyways, I'm gonna go for now. Gotta tend to this fire that's really petering out. By the way, I'm Peter Rebel. Nice to meet you.